Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Today we're going to be talking about Kenya Moore's ex-husband, Marc Daly, allegedly being sued for millions of dollars and just being in debt generally, allegedly, okay? So everything I say in this video is alleged, in my own opinion, for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so first of all, In Touch Weekly reported that Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kenya Moore's ex-husband, Marc Daly, sued for eviction, alleging six-figure debt, right? So basically in the article, it talks about how he's facing serious legal issues, including eviction from his New York apartment, right? According to the court documents obtained by In Touch, Marc was sued by the landlord of his Brooklyn apartment building in October 2024. The landlord claimed Marc signed a lease agreement in February 2024 and his lease was scheduled to end in June 2025. Apartments in the building run from $3,424 for a studio to $6,485 for a two-bedroom. Marc was paying $4,920.82 per month in rent. The landlord said he failed to pay rent for August and September 2024. They claimed that he owed a total of $9,341 at the time the lawsuit was filed. So a judgment of possession was entered into on the February 19th, 2025. So pretty recent, a couple of months ago, or last month, actually. I feel like I'm already in April, but that was last month. On top of the eviction lawsuit, Marc is fighting a lawsuit brought by a separate landlord over alleged unpaid rent on another property. Bruh, he is really going through it. Back in July 2024, a landlord named 507, I don't know how to pronounce that, sued Marc along with another LLC, and Marc was listed as the owner guarantor of the two LLCs. The landlord said the lawsuit was being brought to recover payment under two retail leases signed by the defendants. The landlord said the defendants had defaulted on the leases for two retail spaces in a Brooklyn building. The suit said the defendants signed a lease in 2017 along with an expansion lease in 2019. Wow, I'm tired of reading. Anyway, the 2017 lease had a 10-year term that expired in 2027. The 2019 lease had a 10-year term that expired in 2029. Per the deal, Marc agreed to be liable for any money owed by the LLCs. The suit said the defendants have remained in mounting default of the leases since 2022 before terminating operations and abandoning the premises by the beginning of 2024 and cutting off all performance under the contract. Accordingly, at present, defendants owe hundreds of thousands of dollars in unpaid rent and default obligations, which continue to accrue, the suit read. The landlord sued Marc and the LLCs for his alleged breach of the deal. The lease agreement said the space was to be used as a restaurant. Per the lease, the LLCs were to pay $6,500 per month in rent for the first year, and it would grow every year. Marc owned a Brooklyn restaurant named Soko, which announced it was closing down in December 2024. Honestly, the restaurant biz is not easy at all. So I completely empathize with him, in all honesty, because a lot of restaurants closed down around the COVID period or after the COVID period, because they went through a lot during that season and they just could not recover. So shout out to anyone who is going through any of that. I hope things get better for you. Anyways, I'm reading. After 15 years of serving our wonderful community, It's time for me to explore a new adventure in media, so I move onward and upwards. This message was signed by MD. The restaurant was located at the same street as the property listed in the lease agreement in October 2024. The landlord said it served Marc with the papers at SoCo. The landlord's lawyers said he personally served Marc at the restaurant. He said he asked an employee for Marc, who went to get him from the kitchen. He was approximately 5 feet 5 inches, approximately 50 years of age, the attorney wrote. In a separate filing, the landlord demanded $210,115 on the 2017 lease and $238,197 on the 2019 lease for a grand total of $448,313.55. The lawyer explained, not the landlord. The lawyer explained in and after 2022, defendants fell into mounting arrears of their rent obligation to plaintiff, then abruptly abandoned the leased premises in early 2024 and cut off communications with the landlord. Wow, if that is true, that is very, very vile. Like, even if you can't pay the rent or whatever, or just reach out to the landlord, let them know what's going on. So don't just abandon. If you can find new tenants for them to replace you being, then do that, right? But that's just saying, like, assuming that is the truth, okay? We don't know the truth for now, at least. Around the same time, Marc and the LLCs filed a response and denied all allegations of wrongdoing. The defendants argued that the claims were barred by the statutes of limitations. Interesting defense. So they denied wrongdoing, and then they argued that it's barred by statutes of limitations. So my thing is, well, did you do it or not? Did you do it or not? In addition, they said the landlord's lawsuit should be dismissed in whole or in part for failure to state a claim upon which relief may be granted. So technical, right, legal stuff. Okay. Marc and the defendant claimed the landlord was able to re-let one of the premises. Okay, that's good. After they vacated, Marc claimed he had informed the landlord's agent in late 2023 of his plans to vacate. A hearing has been set for June in the matter. Kenya wed Marc in June 2017 and shares a daughter named Brooklyn. The duo split in 2019 and a bitter divorce battle erupted. As In Touch first reported, per divorce settlement, Kenya was awarded primary custody of their daughter and each was awarded joint legal custody. Marc agreed to pay Kenya $2,000 per month in child support despite her being a higher earner. Okay, what does that have to do with anything? It's child support. That ain't got nothing to do with whether or not she's a high earner. That annoyed me a little bit because I'm like, it's your child. Even if she earns high, she's the primary carer, so she's gonna need money from the other party. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, now it sounds like Marc is going through a whole lot of stuff. In a way, if Kenya was still married to him, that could have also been some of her ish, because imagine being married to somebody who's going through all of this and going through debt, and you're having to step in and all of that. What if they had partnered together on some of these projects? Like, it would have just escalated for Kenya. So in a way, like, she got away scot-free on this one. Now, Marc, I'm so sorry all of this is happening to you, especially in terms of like you facing eviction from your apartment. That means it must have gotten really bad for you to be getting evicted from where you allegedly live, right? So that's pretty serious, because aside this whole lawsuit, there's also one about him being evicted for the $9,341 debt, which I just think, like, for it to get to the point where you can't pay your rent for where you live, That is some serious ish. And I don't wish that on anybody. I know he wasn't a good husband to Kenya. He was rude. He was disrespectful to her on TV. We saw it. But nonetheless, I don't wish that upon anybody, and I hope that things get better for him. Now, that is all I have to talk to you guys about today. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.